people know our next guest as a founding member of the hugely successful rock band Motley Crue.
But you may not know, this millionaire rock star was on a wildly destructive path that almost cost him his life. Watch.
There's nothing like a trail of blood to find your way back home.
In 1986, he was the ultimate rock star, the basis for Motley Crue, an idol on top of the world. But NIKKI SIXX was also an addict. Hooked on heroin and cocaine, he was out of control. Somehow, even while living in a drug-induced haze, he managed to keep a diary. Now, over 20 years later, and completely sober, NIKKI decided to publish the tome, called the Heroin Diaries, a year in the life of a shattered rock star. The diary begins on December 25th, 1986, when the rocker should have been celebrating his fame and fortune.
Merry Christmas. Well, that's what people say at Christmas, right? Except for normally they have somebody to say it to. They have friends and family. And they haven't been crouched naked under a Christmas tree with a needle in their arm like an insane person in a mansion in Van Nuys.
The extraordinary memoir of addiction is NIKKI at his worst, culminating on December 23rd, 1987, when he overdosed and was saved from death by paramedics. The Heroin Diaries features insightful commentaries on each entry by NIKKI's family, friends, bandmates, even Vince Neil and Tommy Lee.
If being sober means you can't rock, I think that's wrong. You know, you can do a lot of cool stuff in sobriety.
Since becoming clean, NIKKI has become an advocate trying to steer others clear of drug addiction. He released the book to show those at risk the hell of heroin addiction.
When you've lost it all, that's when you finally realize that life is beautiful.
Please welcome the author of Heroin Diaries, a clean and sober NIKKI SIXX.
NIKKI SIXX. Hey, NIKKI. Hey, thank you for this. Thank you for the book.
Oh, thank you.
And the DVD.
Nice
Did I hear you singing?
Was I?
I heard a little singing.
I was,
right there.
it wasn't
Singing
me,
along a
but
little bit.
I'll take credit for it if it sounded good.
Good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Maybe we should call you NIKKI 6.5 years of...
6.5. I like that.
Yeah, NIKKI 6.5 years of clean and sober.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely clean and sober.
100%, yeah.
You definitely are very honest, and in fact, you say, I could burn these insane diaries or put them back where I found them. Nobody would be the wiser, so why have I decided to publish them? And that's the reason, because you want to send a message to people.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of it. You know, you'd think that something as brutally honest as this that doesn't paint a person out to look good, you would want to hide them.
This is a disturbing book to read, and I was reading it over the weekend, and you do find yourself feeling very uncomfortable at times because you do give you're writing these crazed diary entries, but you're aware of what you're writing. I mean, it's like you understand how bad you really are.
Yeah, I'm not here to tell people not to drink, and certain drugs are necessary, but you know, street drugs, that kind of stuff. I mean, even pharmaceutical, you know, we have a problem with pharmaceutical drugs in our country, and I was just in Washington, D.C., and we were talking about that and how kids are raiding their parents' cabinet and getting the leftover Vicodin that they had for a tooth pain or whatever.
There's a sentence I didn't think I'd ever say. NIKKI SIXX was on Capitol Hill.
Right.
And congratulations, by the way, for doing that.
Yeah.
But what do you think...
That was great.
What do you think saved your life?
You know, the same way that I told you I'd given into the addiction, I gave into being I gave into any kind of having power over trying to get clean. I just gave up because I'm 6.5 years sober. My heroin addiction ended 20 years ago, but I had to drink and then get sober and drink and do other drugs and get sober. And I'd have 2-year stretches and 4-year stretches. So out of 20 years, I've been sober for probably 19 of it.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that it's like really potent. It's really important to me, and giving back is what's going to help me stay on this path. Because I mean, I have kids.
But it's also,
I don't need
a
to
lot of
repeat
pressure
this.
on you. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself by putting yourself out there, writing a book like this, doing these, doing these interviews. It's kind of like you're hanging yourself out there to say, now everybody knows. Now, if they see you out having a drink, you're going to get the eye. And we're going to remember this interview that we did where you were saying.
God, hopes that, I never hope that happens, and I hope that maybe this will ensure that to never happen, but also for other people that are going through it. There's a great song on the Heroin Diaries soundtrack, because I formed a new band to do a soundtrack to this called Accidents Can Happen, and it's about relapse.
Didn't Dr. Feelgood, didn't you write that after rehab?
I mean, see, what happens, in Motley Crue, the biggest selling record was Dr. Feelgood. We were all clean. The most successful single that I've had in the last 10 years is with my new band, 6 a.m. with Life is Beautiful. I have a clothing line, Royal Underground, that's blowing up and doing phenomenal. And that's just another creative thing. And it's fantastic.
Let's just say this. Parents especially, read this book. Please. The Heroin Diaries and the accompanying soundtrack that goes along with it.
Thank you. Great job. Congratulations. We will be right back.
Still ahead. Can't get a flu shot? We've got the 5 best ways